Comrades, good morning. So we are now in the last month of the semester, first semester of the year 2025. I would therefore like us to use this month to start thinking about the outlook for the second semester and to see what has worked in our administrations and what has not. And as you can see, this morning we have just ceremoniously raised the flag accompanied by the Confederation anthem. This is yet another important step that we are taking forward in our union. This is not without difficulty, because unity is hard, especially in Africa. It is difficult to come together, but it is the solution. We must unite. Little by little, the AES is making steady progress. Despite all the difficulties, all the challenges ahead of us, if I were naive, I would ask myself, but why don't the imperialists want this union? But I'm not naive, and I know why. And that's the same question that those who still tend to sleep should be asking themselves. Why don't they want us to unite? Why does the Confederation scare or bother some people so much? Because we are targeted every day by these imperialists trying to get one of the three of us to betray the others. We have been facing this for a very long time. Every time, it's these kinds of schemes that are used to make you leave the Confederation. This would make us think, and when we look at our relationships, there is actually no friendship. In this world, there are only interests. People only come to us for their own interests. We need to be fully aware of this. They will fight us, they will keep fighting us, but we will come out victorious and strong. These situations we are experiencing, we must not take them and feel sorry for ourselves. On the contrary, it should make us stronger. We must come out of this war much stronger. Understand why we have been so heavily attacked, toughen ourselves, and ensure that in the centuries to come, we never experience this kind of situation again. That's what we need to keep in mind. So, I encourage everyone to redouble their efforts, because Burkinabes are known as very courageous, hardworking, and resilient people. And these values, we must work to improve them. Wherever you go in Africa or elsewhere in the world, you will find Burkinabes. And it is these values that define and identify Burkinabes. So we must do everything possible to be people of integrity, as the name of our country suggests, to be courageous, resilient, selfless, and to redouble our efforts in everything we do for the good of Burkina, but also for the good of our confederation. That is very important. And once we have reached a certain level, you will understand even better why we were being fought against. Because our country is rich in its human value, rich in its moral values, but above all, rich in its subsoil. And it is these riches that are coveted, but these riches must benefit the people of Burkina Faso. Nothing has really started yet in terms of exploiting natural resources, and therefore in terms of distributing the benefits to the popular masses. We can change the face of our country. We can move out of this situation of underdevelopment and very quickly become an emerging nation. All it takes is work. Everyone needs to get involved. Just as the fighters are sacrificing themselves on the front lines, we must also be able to make sacrifices within the administration. We need to make sure that we work beyond what we are used to push our abilities further. Because as I said, we need to move very quickly. And it is by moving quickly that we can catch off guard those who are trying to divide us, those who are trying to keep us in a state of poverty. Burkina is not poor. I'm telling you, and I'll say it again, we are very rich. And that is our main problem. It is because of this wealth that they don't want us to first realize that we are rich and to be able to exploit our resources. And beyond Burkina, the entire Sahel is rich, immensely rich. And I know that all of you know this. The Sahel will not remain poor. We will continue on our path, continue building the AES to be strong, resilient, to make the AES a space of total security, to be able to properly exploit our resources so that they benefit our masses. With that, I invite you to share this message with all your loved ones. We must make sacrifices here, in the rear, in the offices, in order to support those who are on the front lines. So, I wish you a very good week, a very good month of June, and a great end to the first half of the year. And so, see you soon to face the second half of the year with more energy, more selflessness, more courage. Homeland or death, we shall overcome.